Nobody would have thought that I would be the one. Rhyner, sports talk. Baseball, 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 baseball.
Oh, with the big mic. Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Okay, now I get it.
We got a lightning strike, boys. What happened over there, Grego? We had a little lightning strike right outside the window.
The Texas Rangers win the World Series.
All right. Here's a tip for all these Americano League teams.
Wait, you said tip?
Yeah, tip.
Okay.
With a P.
Keep jamming.
The ticket, colon, nothing but a big Gen X jerk-off sake.
This is a cool night or what?
Although somebody would hear that and go, bullshit.
I'm back, bitches.
And good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever it may be, wherever you are, whenever you are consuming this podcast. We say howdy to you from us, the Your Dark Companion crew, emanating live today from the nurturing biosphere of our own little mothership. Glad to have you with us. I would be Mike Rhyner. We have Shoopy here. Ashley is here. Mickey is here. Becca is here. We got the entire YDC crew here and are prepared to edify you in that way that we do. Now, before we get started and really get into this, we probably should tell everybody what's going on outside because you may hear a little bit of racket out there. And we chose today with the special purpose in mind of a very special event that's going on around here. That is, they are paving the street outside my little bungalow today.
I believe they're paving it in gold.
Yes, streets paved in gold, Shooby. And we were apprised a couple of days or so ago to, number one, get any and all cars off the street. They don't care what we do with them. So I went out and pawned mine off earlier today.
Good move.
Yep, it was a good move. But they're all off the street. However, what is on the street are major equipment vehicles, construction vehicles, street building, street paving vehicles and stuff. So what I'm telling you is it might get a little bit rackety out there today. Now, let's get to the man of the hour, our very special guest.
Speaking of racket.
I'm very delighted to talk to him once again because I really liked this guy when he populated this part of the world. I thought he was very, very good at what he did. And what he did was important to me because what he did, among others, introduced a sport to me that I was not terribly familiar with at the time, only because I had never been around it. I didn't grow up with it, and I didn't know a whole lot about it, so I had to lean on someone who did on that fateful morning where we all woke up, went to the front door to get in the newspaper, and found that somebody had left a hockey team in our Fairburg overnight. That team was the Minnesota North Stars, as they were known then. They would become known as the Dallas Stars. And not that first year, but very soon after, their work would be brought to us on the play-by-play side by a very, very talented and very special individual by the name of Ralph Strangis. And Ralphie joins us today. How are you, my friend?
I'm very well, my friend. It's so nice to see you. So nice to see the whole group. I'm really excited to be here today. This has been a lifelong dream of mine to be on with Your Dark Companion. When I was sitting on my daddy's knee, watching Minnesota North Stars hockey.
You were just thinking, how am I going to get
one day?
Dark?
One day. And today, Ryan's 8 October 24.
Yes. Finally happened. We made it happen. Oh, you appear to be in some far off port of call.
I am. I live in the greater Coachella Valley in Southern California. I was in Palm Springs for about the last 4 or 5 years. I moved to the next borough here called Rancho Mirage. I am in my living room now that will also double as a television set for my forthcoming YouTube channel that we'll talk about maybe later. But this is so what I understand now is, do you see the ceiling above me?
Yes.
That is a coffered ceiling. I didn't, maybe I had heard the term, but I didn't know it until I bought the house. But it's coffered, and I really like it. It's kind of a nice feature. And then well behind me there, if you can see, is a piece I bought from a street artist in Venice that's made with VHS cassettes and film negatives that says La Fin, the end of analog. And that's been a mainstay. Yeah.
I see that. Yeah. That's about VHS cassettes, huh?
They're all VHS cassettes. Yep. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think I've probably got enough of those around here to build out a couple of 3 of those. If anybody would like to buy one, then an undertaking we can.
I think we have some friends that could do it.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, does your VCR still blink 12?
No, it does not.
Right.
I've managed to conquer the time component of the VCR.
Ashley set that up for you?
Do I?
Actually,
no.
I did that one myself, Ralphie.
Whoa.
It was a major accomplishment and a major endeavor.
Took 3 days.
It took 3 days, but I finally got it working right.
Can we see it when we're done?
What a time to be alive.
We can't see it. Not now, anyway. But if you want to later on, sure.
Deal.
Why would I?
So what drew you out there to that part of the world, Ralphie, other than the fact that it's a fantastic place and where everyone would want to be?
Well, when I left the booth in Dallas in 2015, I was really sort of adrift, right? And I didn't know what I wanted to do and where I wanted to do it. So I hung around Dallas for the better part of 3 years, wrote op-eds for the Dallas Morning News for about 3.5 years. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Dabbled a bit, but it became clear to me, pretty early on that I didn't want to be that guy who used to be that guy in Dallas, Dallas.
It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun, Ralphie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go good. Yeah.
As one who fits that role perfectly, now I can tell you it ain't bad.
Yeah.
There are worse things out there.
Yeah. No, I'm like I just shit all over you guys' career now. But it's I wanted to change. I really wanted to change. I've always loved Southern California, but I didn't want to go to LA. My daughter at the time lived in LA. My mother and my sister live in LA. My brother's got a place in LA. I have work friends in LA, but I didn't want to be anywhere near LA. So I came and visited a friend in 2015 here, and it's a great small town. I don't have to get on the freeway. Now we have the American Hockey League here in a brand new 10,000 seat arena. There's casinos, there's shows all the time, Coachella and Stagecoach, and then the Indian Wells tennis tournament and all kinds of great events. I've become really, I found a home here, and I can hike and ride my bicycles, and it's such a great outdoor place. So I love it, and I've made some great friends here, and I just, I'm really grooving out here in Palm Springs, where and the weed here. Oh, are you kidding me?
High quality, huh?
Ryan, you remember the old brown dirt stems and seeds?
No, all too well. All too
God.
well.
Oh my God. No, it's not like that now. I mean, they're engineering this stuff. So it's, and here I am in the Coachella Valley, just a guy and his bicycle and his half ounce of weed.
Seems pretty ideal, man.
Yeah.
Pretty ideal.
Yes, it is.
Well, I will tell you, your presence is missed around here. Even after you left the Stars, I still would see you around from time to time. I always did enjoy running into you.
Yeah, me too.
And I did and still do miss you on the broadcast. And if we could, I want to talk to you a little bit about coming here when on that fateful night when the city woke up the next morning and found that somebody had left a hockey team overnight on the front porch. Now, you weren't here for that first year, right?
I was, yeah.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. Yeah, I was with the North Stars from 1990-91 to 92-93. We moved down after the 92-93 season. So there was the hockey side that they were pretty well taken care of in terms of they were coming, that was it. I know you had a nice episode with my dear friend Dan Stukel.
Yes, we did.
Wonderful guy. I listened to it about the move down.
Yeah.
So on the business side, it was like, and I think Stukel got grabbed by the hockey side at that point. So that was easier if you were on that side of it. But in my case, it was, so in Minnesota at that time, trying to think of this, I was the analyst, host, dinner reservation maker, bag carrier for the NHL Hall of Famer Al Shaver, who was the only play-by-play man on the radio the North Stars ever had. Al just passed earlier this year at the age of 92. Hall of Fame broadcaster, wonderful guy. I listened to him growing up every night on the radio. He taught me how to call the game. And then I had a 3-year working apprenticeship with him in Minnesota, where I got to watch how he watched it, how he called it. I learned his tricks, and he was very instrumental in that. But so it was Al and me on the radio, and Doug McLeod, and I believe Joe Micheletti on the TV side. Joe was around for a while. So there were 2 companies going on at once, for those of you interested in the old history. There was the Minnesota North Stars operating in Minnesota, winding down the end of the 92-93 season. And if you go back through the game-by-games in the media guide of that year, you can see on the win-loss line where the announcement took place. It was like in, I want to say late February or something. And it went from, we were kind of in it, to LLLLLT, which was a tie, overtime, LLLL. And you could just see everybody went, okay. So the Minnesota North Stars were still operating in Minnesota, but without Norm Green and without the people who were going to move the organization to Texas, which finally became Texas. There were so many starts and stops. We were going to Anaheim. We were going to Florida. We were going to maybe Houston. Right? There wasn't a team in Houston. So in those days, Norm Green, when he couldn't find a place, called his old friend Roger Staubach, who was on a board with him sometime years and years ago, and said, "You think Dallas might be interested in this?" And he said, I'll get you a meeting. So he called Mayor Bartlett at the time. He called the mayor, and they said, "Yeah, we'd love to talk to you about it." They went in. Don Carter had an eminent domain clause. He had to say so on whether or not another team could move, a hockey team could move into Dallas and into Reunion Arena. Carter said, "I will not be the reason this team doesn't come here. Of course we want them." Carter was a very early proponent, advocate for us. And without him, I don't know if we would have ever gotten there. So they Al didn't want to go down. He was going to take his retirement money and go off into the sunset. McLeod, I don't think they wanted to do that. They bought him out. He had a year left or something. And guy who was the first president of the Dallas Stars, Jesus, guy named Bill Strong. Strong, like most executives who are in charge of broadcasts on any NHL team, had zero broadcast experience. Mm-hmm. Never been on a show, never worked on a show. He was a sales guy from Pittsburgh, the Penguins. So Strong, under the marching orders of, we're going to do this on the cheap, the first thing he did was he got us a simulcast. That's why we did it. Not because it was the way to do it, but because it was cheaper. And we had to buy our way on the air that first year. He hired, without anybody, without me knowing about it, Mike Fornes, who was the original play-by-play guy for the Dallas Stars. I had a clause in my contract that said, when Al retires, I get the play-by-play chair. I called Bill Strong, and he said, no, we already have a play-by-play guy. And I said, well, that's kind of odd because it's me. No, we're not going to do that. But if you want to come down and be the analyst, maybe we can talk about that. So I called Norm. I tracked down Norm. And in those days, I didn't have, there weren't, internet, social media. I couldn't find his number. I got his number from somebody. I called him at his home and I said, Norm, look, I really want to be the play-by-play guy. You're not. We hired somebody. Okay. I said, Norman, I want to come down. I want to help you, but I think I can help you. But if you don't want me there, I understand. Let's work something out. You guys go on without me. I don't need a guarantee. I don't need an extension. I only had a year left. I was 30 years old or 29 or something. 30. I can't do math. Norm said to me on the phone, you'll be great here. I want you here. Come on down. And on that phone call, I got in my car. I drove down. I was there in May of 1993, right around Memorial Day. I remember some bombastic sportscaster on WFAA named Dale Hansen was celebrating some, I don't know, maybe it was his, back in 93, would it have been his 60th year in broadcasting? I don't know.
Thereabouts.
Yeah. But I remember watching that first weekend as I was moving in, and I said, oh, this is going to be kind of fun here in Dallas. And then very shortly thereafter, that fall was the Leon Lett game, the fumble in the snow. So I remember a lot of that stuff. But had I not found the Dallas people, Norm, and he had some lawyers and business people, I would never have made it down here. And there were only a few of us. It was me, Stukel, the hockey side, a couple of salesmen, and that was it. So, and the team. So on we came.
Let me ask you this. Do you remember the first time somebody came up to you and said, hey, walk with me, man. I got to talk to you. I think we're moving to Dallas. Do you remember that? Or something like that? The first time you even got wind of something like that?
Well, no, I remember we're in the season, we're working, right? And again, in those days, this league was run by Gary Bettman had just gotten it.
Yeah.
And prior to that, when you look at it, John Ziegler was the president of the NHL. There was no commissioner. Right. And Ziegler worked only for one entity, and it was the owners. And there was all kinds of it was like the mob back in those days. It really was. Bettman came in and turned what, I've seen better softball leagues run than the NHL back in the early days. Bettman came in and totally turned the thing around. So I'm saying this because everything was so loosey-goosey back then. Yeah. And nobody in Minnesota knew what the hell was going on. So the first time I remember hearing about it was the equipment manager said to me, hey, I think we're moving to Dallas. And then I started trying to run it down. And the people in the office said, no, we're not moving to Dallas. And I said, well, I'm kind of hearing some stuff. No, we're not moving to Dallas. And then one of the executives I went into, a guy named Pat Forcia, who had a very interesting history with the North Stars and beyond. Pat said, yeah, we're going to go. I'm going to be there. So you can just talk to me about it. Forcia didn't know anything. He never got down to Texas. And so it was all this kind of weird, shadowy subterfuge that was going on to move the team sort of in the middle of the night from Dallas or from Minnesota to Dallas. And so I don't really remember anybody, Ryan's really going, hey, man, come on, this is what we're doing. Nobody knew anything. It was really strange. It was really, really strange.
How long was it from the first time you even heard of a farthing or a rumor or maybe this could be happening until it started taking on some kind of concrete shape?
Weeks, mere weeks. It happened really fast because here we are in, Norm had kind of gotten out of there in January or February. He was looking for places to land. We had a deal to be the Anaheim Stars in Anaheim. And when Norm took the meeting, the league said, Disney's interested. We kind of want Disney to be in the league. Find another place. Norm said, how about Florida? Florida might be good. He goes down. Then they say, Wayne Huizenga of Blockbuster wants in on Florida. We want Wayne Huizenga and Blockbuster in the league. Find another place. And that's when he started looking everywhere and finally landed up with Roger, as the story I told you before. And that's how we got to Dallas.
When you first came down here, what were your thoughts about this place? And about hockey, because I got to tell you, Ralphie, as a native around here,
yeah,
I didn't know anything about the game. Really, we didn't get that much of it on TV down here for a long time. Like every spring when I was growing up, we'd get the Stanley Cup Finals or something like that. But that was pretty much all I knew about it. Just that, and the fact that some of those guys had some kind of funny, odd names. But I mean, what were your thoughts about this place as hockey market when you first got down here?
Well, I'm sure you were.
I ask you this because you were the one that was going to have to teach this to us. I mean, we learned this from you.
Yeah. I'm sure, looking back now, that you were with Randy Galloway watching on the frozen Trinity River Hockey League. I used to go on WBAP with Galloway, and he'd say, "Now coming into the show from the frozen Trinity River Hockey League." Galloway used to kind of accompany us on the road, and he'd take us to horse racing tracks. So Galloway, we were in St. Louis. We went to a track. He pulls out the form. He looks at it. He turns to me and says, "Ralphie, if they're going to put these pigs on the dirt, we're going to fire at it." And so Galloway was one of a kind. So, I mean, here was my view, and I'm different than your regular old hockey guy. I knew Dallas as an extremely robust sports city. I was a big NFL guy. Not so many people in hockey are big NFL guys. I was a huge NFL guy. And so I thought, holy cow, we're going into Dallas where the Cowboys are. We're going to be under the bright lights. They've got the Mavericks and the Rangers. This is going to be really good for us because we're in a place that digs professional sports. We're going to be showbiz here. They just don't know it yet. So I was very excited about the market. I also knew that there were so many transplants. Dallas is such a transient city that we would get sort of some inertia going with people who had already been around it. And then the great luck of great luck, the ticket. You guys, that was the deal for us, right?
We did it again.
We did it again. We grew with the ticket. Do you remember that old charity challenge?
Yeah, you bet I do.
It was amazing. So we got people in the same way you guys got people in, which was, well, I'm not really sure what this is, but it's super fun. I really like it. And I think I got to pay attention to what's going on. And where we couldn't, nobody's going to kick the Cowboys off their air, right? Nobody's going to, we were cheap programmed and we were available. And you guys found out rather quickly that, wow, we can talk to this Ken Hitchcock guy and he's really fun, like hitching the hard line. I mean, and in a way that I think other sports teams don't allow access, we were all in all the time. So I think the synergy of the sports town itself and then the ticket and the transplants, and then we got good pretty fast. And every other Dallas team was kind of falling away. It was just a perfect storm, a confluence of wonderful coincidences that lined up. And the minute I got here, I was excited. I went from a small provincial market to one of the best television sports markets in the world. I personally couldn't have been happier, and I thought this was going to be big.
How much did you feel like you had to kind of change your approach, though, when you were doing the calls, compared to Minnesota, where I think you probably could kind of assume people understood hockey pretty well, grew up with it, to Dallas? Obviously, like you said, there's some transplants, but there's still a pretty big new market that has never had true professional hockey or NHL hockey before. Do you feel like you changed anything?
Well, I didn't really worry about the rules, the nitty gritty, the nuanced talk of hockey. What I wanted people to do was fall in love with the experience and the players, right? Going to a game live is as good a live sports experience as people can have, especially a good game, especially a Stanley Cup playoff game. We had some really great players, and we had Mike. We had Mike. Didn't matter if we were good, if we were bad, if we were low, if we were winning. We had Madonna. He was a headliner. Come see Sinatra every night at the American Airlines Center. And that's how I pushed it. I really didn't. I mean, I thought, well, people will pick up Icing. And along the way, people will get all that stuff. But I remember being on a show on I think it was WBAP radio. And they took some calls one morning, and a guy came on. It was really early. And he said, he was a Texas guy. And he said, Ralph, I just want to ask you, are you surprised how much the locals are catching on to NHL hockey and the Stars right now? And I said, and then he said, I got two questions, that one. And then he said, and then could you explain Icing to me? I'll hang up. Never forget that question.
Well, I still remember when I was about to take over the music for the Stars about 10 years ago. Met up with game presentation director Jason Danby, and his first question was, "Do you know what Icing is, or can I explain?" I was like, "No, not really." And I still can't. 10 years later,
no, I still can't either.
Yeah, I know it when I see it.
I can't. It is. It's like it's Larry Flint and the Supreme Court. I know it when I see it.
Yes.
I know it when you see it. Something weird just happened out there, but I can't tell you what it is, why it happened, how it happened, and what happens next. I just know that that's Icing.
Yeah,
it's like porn.
You kind of see
that's exactly right.
Yeah,
you
see the puck.
See it.
Yeah, you see the puck go down the ice. Everybody just kind of stops. You're like, okay, I guess that was Icing.
I guess you out there to tell me an Icing is the call.
Yeah. It's so, and over the years, you go to the NHL, and the rule book amends their language and all that. And one year, I was at the NHL meetings. Probably mid 2000s or something, or late 2000s. Stephen Walkham, who runs NHL officiating, who's just a great guy and super forward thinking and all of that. And he would tell you anything. And so I said one time, is there a way that's an easier way to describe what the icing is in that? And he said, well, if it's a receivable pass, then we're not going to call icing. It was the first time in my life I had heard that on any level from anybody in hockey. And I said, why isn't that in the rule book? He said, well, we don't put it in the rule book.
Say, that makes so much more sense.
Okay, thanks. We're going to waive it if it's a receivable pass. And can I use it? Okay, no, we don't want to let the fans know what the rule is. No, that would be crazy. So anyway, again, I didn't get caught up in that stuff. What I got caught up in is come watch Mike, come watch hockey, and we're going to have a blast here. And you remember the old Stars Club, Ryans?
Oh yeah. I do remember the Stars Club.
Oh yeah. That was part of the fun too. So
man, I got to tell you, you guys did it right.
Yes, we did.
If one of these teams is looking to move out of where they are into another foreign port, especially one that may not be familiar with whatever game they're trying to sell, what they need to do is get a hold of whoever was around at the time and get them down there, put them up at a hotel for 2 or 3 weeks, and every day just get them in there and drill this through their heads. Tell them how to do this right, because you guys did, man. Well, and the way you did it was you made it fun. Mm-hmm. Even if you didn't know what was going on out there, it was still fun. Mm-hmm. And I mean, good God, the head coach coming on our idiotic radio station every once a week. You kidding me?
I know.
I was going to say, I think that's a big reason that the pro lacrosse team failed here, that they were bringing up, because nobody knew what was going on. And instead of making it fun for everybody and really giving them opportunity to have an experience at the game, they were like, oh, well, people who are lacrosse fans will expand because we have a lacrosse team. And it's like, that don't work.
Yeah.
It's not fun when you come here.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they'll start to like the game eventually, but you got to have other stuff to draw them in other than the game. And the Stars did a great job of that.
And that is NFL 101, right? The fans are watching. The fans are watching. We don't need to worry about them. There's nothing no matter what we do, we can't, Sam Darnold could take a dump on the front door of a Minnesota Vikings fan. They ain't going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. How do we get everybody else excited? And that's kind of what we did. And in complementary to that, we started all the youth hockey programs in the Metroplex. So we were developing not just a fan base and what I like to say, future season ticket holders. We were developing a robust hockey community with at every level, and we were going to lead it. And those things, I give a lot of credit to Jeff Kogan in those days. He had a lot of vision for a lot of this stuff, especially the game night, especially the presentation. He knew what Rune Arledge said about football. The show, not the contest. Yeah. The show, not the contest. Right. And the NFL has been doing that. Hockey is as far behind as anybody. Hockey likes the contest. Hockey broadcasts the contest. And all the Canadian broadcasters don't want to go away from the contest. Razor understood always that in addition to that, the show. And we just had so much fun with the show that people didn't really care about the intricacies of the contest. They just came in and they were on board. So thank you for that. It was we had a really good group back in those days, with Jeff Kogan and Bob Gainey on the hockey side and Tom Hicks. Tom Hicks changed the world for us. Just changed the world for me, changed the world for us. I love Tom. I really, really do. He was so good to me and us professionally. I really missed that he was not unable to hold on to the team.
And, you mentioned Hitch a minute ago.
Yeah.
And, you think of a hockey coach. Hockey coaches can be a little bit on the, shall we say, dry side.
Dry and prickly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they stick to the business at hand.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And they're not known for joviality behind the bench or any other time. Hitch was not really like that. I mean, when the game was on, he was all about it. And it was serious shit. And if you were going to play for him, you were going to play the game his way. But the way he would come on our show and talk to us about it and break it down and explain to everybody what was going on out there. I mean, I tell you, to this day, I value that guy as something fierce.
Can I tell you? So Hitch has a place here in the Coachella Valley. And he's here all winter. So Hitch and I play golf probably once a week or something in the winter.
Really?
Yeah. And we went, so this summer, he's always, and we have this little group here. And all that, he's like, you guys got to come up to Alberta and play golf. You guys got to come up. So this summer, we went up to, Jesus Christ, Ralph, shut the hell up, will you? We went up to Canmore, British Columbia. There was a group of 4 of us that played. And Hitch and me and my 2 friends and our 2 friends spent 4 days in Alberta. We played golf at Banff, at the Banff Springs Hotel. We had up in the Canadian Rockies. It was so gorgeous. And Hitch and I have become pretty close now. And we play like when Mike Babcock's around here, we play with Babcock. Gainey comes into town, we play with Gainey. There's a lot of really, there's a big hockey community here now, especially with the Firebirds in town. Grant Fewer's around and a lot of old players are around. I think Gretz has a place here too. Mike Barnett, the former agent, and Glenn Sather, I think, has a place. So it's been really fun. But Hitch and I
could start a new league, damn near.
Yes, he could. Hitch and I have gotten really close, and it's awesome because at this point in both our lives, and he's still working. He works for St. Louis Blues, Doug Armstrong, and he watches games and calls in and gets a trip every now and then to go talk to the boys, and so it's been really fun to have him here. And you're right, he was one of the big reasons we got that much pub, that much positive publicity. Hitch and the Hardline that was a big one. That was a real one.
And just listening to him every week changed over time my whole sports think. I mean, that guy had just an amazing impact on me.
Yeah, that's good because he had an impact on everybody. Shoop, did he have an impact on you, my boy?
Of course he did. But I was going to ask you, y'all mentioned the Stars Club. I've kind of heard about it. Like I've gotten to hang out with Craig Ludwig a couple times after games and stuff.
Wait, Luddy is Craig Ludwig?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
For those that don't know,
You don't know that
Yeah.
Luddy
I
is
know
Craig
who he
Ludwig?
is. You know who he
Exactly.
is. But I did want to ask, like, what was the Stars Club back in the day? Like, I've heard about it. I've heard bits and pieces of stories, but was it basically just a hangout after the game, just at Reunion Arena, or was it for fans? Was it for everybody? For just employees?
Groups. First rule about Stars Club.
Oh,
I was going to
We don't
say,
talk about Stars.
I have a feeling that you and I are about to get left out on
I
this.
think we are.
Did,
At the Stars
Ashley-
Club stays at the Stars Club.
Understood.
We're too young.
Ashley, can you play some 70s porn music or something? And I can.
Grooves is the music savant around here.
Say,
All right,
we can just put up Emmanuel in space for a moment.
Yeah. What's that movie?
Yeah.
It was an outdoor. I guess they call them pole barns, outdoor tent sort of thing with a hard shell on it. And it was every, this was sort of before the club scene, and blow in the bathrooms and all of that stuff. This was sort of like all the pretty people, all the, the employees of that.
Invited.
Pardon?
I said Grooves and I definitely wouldn't have been invited to this.
Enough.
All the employees from the men's club used to show up there quite a bit, and so it was. And then in those days, teams didn't charter, so they stayed overnight and flew commercial the next day. So all the visiting teams went. I mean, their hair was wet. They had buttons on their shirt they hadn't buttoned up. They were carrying their shoes up the stairs, running to the Stars Club after the game. It was like that. So we really, it was just part of the whole show. And the woman who ran the Stars Club for us, Darcy, married Brett. And so it was like that. It was so much fun, but all part of the showbiz in those days. So yeah, that was it. I can't really tell you much. I can't. Yeah, no, I can't tell you much.
It kind of sounds like the place everybody wants to be, but no one knows about.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was kind of that club. I mean, there wasn't any what is it? Freak offs? What's the?
Oh, I don't know about that one. What?
I don't know, but I don't know.
Oh, freak offs, yeah.
The freak offs, but it was
no Diddy.
No Diddy. It
wasn't an all white party.
Okay. Well,
that's what they were called.
As long as this road, Ralphie.
We should. Ashley, pull me out of this.
We're swerving. Let's keep it going.
As long as we're going down this road. I was alerted today to the fact that Tyler Sagan introduced you to Tinder.
Oh yeah.
Oh my Lanta.
How'd you hear that?
Not from Tyler.
Doing research for the show. That's all.
That's good.
How was your Tinder experience?
Well, so I got divorced in like 2012. My ex-wife, Rhyner's very good friend and Tom Petty co-fan, Stephanie, my ex-wife, is still one of my best friends in the world. We're just awesome. I speak with her very frequently. But we divorced. I was single. I was sort of wandering around. And Tyler, who was back in 2012, how old would he have been? Yeah, early
baby.
20s.
Yeah, he was 19, maybe.
So, yeah, he was like I think he's my age, so he'd been like 20, 21, something like that.
Probably that's right.
Yeah.
So
he's a grown-ass man now, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He's a grown-ass man now, and I'm really proud of him. I love the kid. He's been great. But so we're sitting in the room one day, and he goes, "Hey, you're single now, right?" Yeah. You dating anybody? Oh, I don't know. Been on Tinder? What's Tinder? Seriously. I'm like, what's Tinder? He goes, dude, it's like ordering pizza. You won't believe how easy it is.
It's like ordering pizza.
Well, it was like, it's so
Starts
easy.
with another P word.
I didn't have to go out and I didn't have to do it. I don't know if that's exactly what, but it was something like, this is so easy. You're going to get.
That was brilliant though.
Yeah. So about a week. So he gets me on, we make a profile together. And then about a week later, he comes up to me and he goes, how's it going? Like you having fun with it? I go, I'm going to go on a limb here and say me and Tyler Sagan aren't having the same Tinder experience. He's Tyler Sagan. And so, I was on the dating apps for a while with mixed results. I've just kind of decided over the years that I'm way better doing things by myself. And, I meet friends and do things, but I really like my life. I travel by myself. I live by myself, and I work by myself. And that these days is really nice.
I was going to say, I felt kind of cool when I was teaching Ralphie how to use Instagram. I've actually found the picture.
There it is. There's our post. Yes, it is.
I helped him create his Instagram account 10 years ago, October 9th, 2014.
I don't know what's more epic, you helping him create Instagram or Tyler Sagan making his Tinder.
I mean, both apparently got him the same amount of women.
Actually, maybe Instagram I did better. I don't remember, man. I'm just, yeah. So, and then what was the other one? Twitter. We got on Twitter really early, and it was funny that Stars came to me and said, "There's this new format and this new platform, and we want you to be on it." And I said, "What is it?" And they said, "It's Twitter." "What do you do?" "Well, you text out, and people follow you, and then they all read it." I went, "Huh?" And I don't know if I want to do that. They said, "No, just do it." So they got me they got me in 2009. They got me verified like right away. When Bob Sturm was fighting to get his blue check, I already had mine. It's the one thing I did.
My man.
Yeah, thank you. And so, I did.
Yeah, he's still really proud of his.
One of the saddest days of my life was when my blue check went away on Twitter. I was really upset about it.
Do I have a blue check?
Ooh, I don't think anybody has blue checks anymore.
Yeah. Well, I bought mine.
Pay for it.
Why not?
Yeah, I bought mine.
Now
this
you have
time.
to buy them.
Did you pay for yours?
I did. So, but I got rid of everything now. Like I had signed off of everything. I haven't been on the apps in years, really. Been on Facebook for 10 years. I don't even want to know about. Wasn't on Instagram, wasn't on Twitter. I'm back on Twitter, and it's funny, but Twitter thinks shit. So there's this algorithm now, right? Mm-hmm. And okay, so I start fresh, and I'm like, I don't want to see any bullshit. I want to see politics. I don't want to see fires. I don't want to see people beating each other up.
Fires.
I don't care about any of that shit. I want to have music, arts, sports, and that's it. Twitter doesn't understand that there's a person in the world who doesn't want to see either Donald Trump or Kamala Harris posts. So when I say, they'll do a Trump post and I'll say, this post isn't relevant. Then they'll put up a Kamala post and I'll say, this post isn't relevant. Then they'll put up a Trump post and I'll say, this post isn't relevant. So they keep bouncing. They're trying to figure out where I am. And then they think, well, okay, so he doesn't like politics. He's got to want to watch girls beating each other up in nightclubs, right? And who doesn't want that? So then I go in and I go, post isn't relevant. Show me less of these. We'll show you less of these. We'll show you less of these. Then
you show some of that action my way.
Yeah, right. Well, okay. So then I'm following all these sports bet people, right? And a lot of them are women, and a lot of them are, very good looking women. So now they're sending me a bunch of porn and soft. And I'm like, no, that's not it. I don't want that. I want the sports betting stuff. So now what has happened is, in order to keep the politics off my feed and to give them at least, I throw the Twitter people at least a bone. I'm struggling through it, but I'm getting the porn accounts and just,
I mean, there's worse things than the porn accounts.
That's right. I'd rather look at that on my feed than somebody telling me, and listen, can I just tell people something? Nobody's changing their mind. Okay? Everybody's locked in. There is no post you can show anybody right now that'll change their vote. Stop it.
That is your PSA for the day.
I'm going through Ralphie's following on Twitter now. See if I can find any porn bots.
No, I haven't followed the porn bots. They just keep popping.
No, the porn bots would follow him.
Yeah, there's porn bots following me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Ralphie, I was going to say, like on your Twitter homepage, there's a For You and a Following. If you just click the Following tab, you should eliminate all
Mostly,
that.
yeah. But the For You sometimes has some new stuff that I haven't seen yet that they base on. They base on if I'm watching. If I'm getting analytics or betting stuff, then they'll kick out some more stuff so I can't totally abandon the For You stuff. So,
all right, just making sure you knew.
You're on me every day. Why do you tell him that and not me?
Right.
So it's funny for you to get porn.
I want to know what porn accounts follow you and what's popping up on there.
You want me to forward them to you?
What? Mommy's got boobs and
I was going to
stuff
say
like that.
mommy milkers or something.
Yeah.
Mike, what else are you looking up on your phone for that to pop up?
Deep throat.
No. I have special ways around that. So
I'm sure you do.
All right.
You're a college graduate now.
We're all human, right? Let's go.
You're a college graduate now, aren't you?
I am. Yeah, I am.
That was the best transition ever.
Boy, it was, wasn't it?
Now I can finally make something of myself.
It sounds like that you were on the same basic degree plan as me, except you took it to a new extreme, which I could never even hope to attain.
Well,
it was on like the 9-year degree plan.
37 for me. 37. Yeah. So, school was a waste of time for me. I'm serious. And what we do in this country is treat everyone exactly the same. Everybody learns the same way. Everybody's going to get at the same pace. And here you go. And we're going to, they're still teaching algebra. Nobody learns, financial literacy or healthcare. We teach algebra. So all the time I was in school, I'd say, well, I know what I'm going to do. This isn't going to help me. Where can I go? And of course, they don't like that. But when I finally when I finished with the Stars, I had 33 hours left, 33 credits left. And because I had gone back and forth and picked up stuff here and there. And a guy from a guidance counselor from the University of North Texas, guy named Jerry Wersinski, big Stars fan, read my post in the morning news about why I decided to leave. And I had said something on a radio show about, maybe I'll go back to school. And he sent me an email that said, if you want to finish, I can help you. And so we designed a program together. He gave me some credit for stuff I had done professionally. And I have let me think if I remember my degree. Are you ready? I have a Bachelor of Applied Arts and Sciences. I have a Bachelor of Applied Arts and Sciences in I don't even know what it is. I have a Bachelor in Technology Review and Performance Enhancement. Something like that. But it was the most fun. It was so much fun to go back to school. And I got to go into the classes. I minored in history, so I took 2 more U.S. history classes. And I took an American Constitutional Civics class. And it was all at 2016. And there was an election that year that was really interesting. And so I got to watch all of that. So I got to see that with a new eye. And it's very interesting to go back and see what we don't remember, weren't taught, and have completely wrong. So I had a great time. I had a college sweetheart when I was there, but let's just get past that now.
Like a Bill Belichick college sweetheart?
Yeah, me and Belichick.
By the way, Ralphie, it was Applied Technology and Performance Improvement.
Applied Technology and Performance Improvement.
What is that?
Nerd.
I want to know what that is.
Performance improvement.
Yeah.
If you can figure it out, like it was through the College of Information or something. And Jerry was a great guy. There's that story of Matt Damon and his father having lunch with Jerry Weintraub, the agent. Remember Jerry Weintraub? Weintraub.
Remember the name?
Yeah. So they're at a table, and Matt Damon's father says, "You ever regret not finishing Harvard?" And he goes, "Yeah, maybe I'd have liked a degree from Harvard." Wersinski, the agent, says, "You want a degree from Harvard?" He says, "Yeah, why?" He said, "There's always a guy." So I found my guy, and Jerry Wersinski was my guy, and I got my degree. Thanks, Jerry.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Also,
What do you want
as we catch up with the latest happenings in the world of Ralphie, you're now on Substack.
I am.
I read your initial episode on there today.
The Devil's Dictionary.
Yes, it was quite amusing, I thought. What you did was you threw out a lot of hockey terms, things that are very common for those in the hockey vernacular, not so much having to do with the intricacies of the game or the rules or anything like that, but things you hear hockey people say about other hockey people.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good way to put it? Or a reasonable way to put it?
Very reasonable, yeah.
I'd like to go over a few of these if we could.
Okay,
Do you mind?
Not at all. That's why we're here. By the way, Substack, Ralph Stack is the name of the account. It's only $7.22 a month. That's less than half a gallon of gas in California. So,
how much are you paying for a gallon of gas in California?
I try not to look. I don't drive around that much, so I try not to look.
Yeah, they're like everywhere else. It's one of those things that you just do it and try not to think about it.
Yeah, you just
kind of like getting a shot of penicillin in your rear end or something.
Yep.
All right. One of the terms that you hear in hockey, and this was all very amusing to me when it first came to our Fairburg, and all of a sudden I was hearing these Canadians that spoke in that amusing yet very particular way to them. Mm-hmm. One of the things they called a team, and this goes back to Hitch. A lot of this is going to go back to Hitch, because if I heard him do it once, I heard him do it 1,000 times, and I can't think of how often you must have heard him refer to the team as our group.
Group. Yeah. We got a lot of good guys in our group here, and and I said, group? How do you mean by group? Well, the team. Why don't you say team? Well, because it's our group. Why don't you just say team? Well, team's the same thing. Well, why are we saying group then? Because it's a group. Okay, fine. So I collected all of this kind of stuff over the years, and I got a lot more of it. And the thing about the NHL is there's so much Canada in the game, and Canada believes it's their game, or North America in the game. 31 of the 32 general managers are North American. 2/3 are from Canada. They're all about the same age. You wonder why things are done. They keep getting done and they keep getting done. Old coaches get recycled. New voices are hard to get in, all of that. That's why. And so I'm kind of poking fun at the whole system that's created this weird lexicon that I don't even know they think about when they say stuff. I heard, here's another one. He's not your typical Russian. Say that again? Well, he's not your typical Russian. What do you mean by that? Well, he's a nice kid and he plays hard and he plays the right way. I said, and I've heard this from coaches and GMs, and every time I say, do me a favor, will you? Don't repeat that to anybody else.
Now, you just mentioned another one. Plays the game the right way.
Plays the game the right way. Born in Canada.
And conversely, game is too rich for him. Won't dig in with the rest of us. Can't trust him.
Not born in Canada.
Can I go on, or you want to?
Yeah, go on. We'll do a few of these. Yeah, I think they're fun. I don't know.
Gritty.
Well, gritty. Okay, so I even got it here just to make sure, because I didn't memorize all of them exact. A player who collects no more than 4 goals or 12 points in any NHL season, who will never be deployed more than 8 minutes in any game, and whose career generally doesn't last past 4 years.
That's a guy that's gritty.
Great guy in the room. You want that one? Great guy. A player who rarely has any statistical impact on a game's outcome.
Selfish.
A player, usually European-born, who scores a minimum of 35 goals and 75 points for at least 5 straight seasons, Expect this player to be traded frequently in transactions that likely include the seller getting back players who are gritty and who play the game the right way.
The right culture.
The right culture, yeah. The collective character of a contending team with at least 100 points, at least 325 goal scorers, a 25-minute defenseman, and a Vezina Trophy finalist on the roster. That's the right culture.
Head coach.
Former middling player who attempts to make the game unwatchable by implementing defensive structure, who is fluent in all matter of hockey vernacular, and who rarely competes the term of his contract. and then the follow-up is assistant coach, a former or future NHL coach. And there's the one I like too is, I did some of the broadcasting stuff, right? TV play-by-play broadcaster. That's me, a modern day carnival barker whose sizzle is held in higher regard than his steak. Yeah. Radio play-by-play broadcaster, a kindred spirit to the tree falling in the empty forest.
Or Ralphie was both.
How about the TV analyst?
A former NHL player, generally possessing modest or insignificant stats, with no useful employable skills elsewhere, owning a closet full of expensive clothing and shoes, and able to repeat most of the phrases in this book.
Studio analyst?
As above, but whose spouse won't let him travel anymore.
Sideline reporter.
One who was able to repeat the question, what was going through your mind, to everyone they interviewed between periods or post-game.
God, this is so perfect. It's not even
so
funny.
happy.
That was so spot on.
Thank you. You want NHL Department of Player Safety?
Yes, I do.
A branch of the league whose mission it is to protect hockey's dirtiest and destructive players with ill intent from suspensions and fines at the expense of injured elite skill players who should be more careful when getting blindsided, suckered, or maimed.
You should write like a book on this.
I've got it. I'm releasing it piece at a time here on Substack. And this one's free today, like it's open to subscribers or anybody else to see it. But future installments of the Devil's Dictionary, you're going to have to pay the $7.22 a month, get behind the paywall. And like I say, it's relatively nothing. I mean, it's I don't know, it's the cost of half a bag of popcorn at American Airlines Center.
It's the cost of about 3 regular Jack in the Box tacos.
Yeah, that's right.
Regular, not the minis?
No, regular. Regular.
Okay. Yeah,
well,
so it's
you're a fan of the mini?
Yeah, I like the minis. Fun that after all these years and with nobody, I got my lights here, with no employer, and it's like you, Rhines, right? Even no matter how much freedom you had, no matter how much rope they gave you, no matter how much rope they gave me, you're still, in your case, you're still working for those guys. And, they don't know anything. They don't know anything. Every supervisor except one that I had over the years really had no idea what I did. Certainly had never done what I did before, but they were very, verbal about how I should be doing. And I'm sure, Rhines, you got that a bunch.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna name names. We all know who we're talking about here. But I mean, that's how the business is. You have people who don't really understand what we do and how we do it, telling us how we should or how we should not. So I'm really happy to be out on my own like you are now. And this is way more fun. Like I'm having a blast, and I've only been at it like a couple of months here trying to get this ready and up. So
yeah,
this is really good. Ashley likes the dictionary, don't you, Ash?
I do. I love the dictionary. It makes me chuckle.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of them. Where's one more here?
The sideline reporter was so spot on, wasn't even funny.
Oh my God. I wish they'd stop. How about beat writer? I like beat writer. Someone who studied journalism in college and once aspired to loftier goals, but who has traded actual reporting for daily work as a stenographer and tens of thousands of hotel points. Most are bitter, none age particularly well.
Ooh.
Listen, how many good people are going to go? especially my Canadian brethren. You shouldn't be doing that, Ralphie. It's a sacred game. Yeah, right. we gotta lock her down. You go into the playoffs, right? Here's the thing: go into the playoffs. You got a 45 goal scorer. The guy got 110 points for you, right? Playoffs start. The coach calls him in. No, listen, we can't have you playing like that in the playoffs. You got to dig in with the rest of us. You got to be willing to block shots. You got to take care of the defensive part of the rink before the offensive part of the rink. I can just see the guy going, "Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. We just played 82 games over a 6-month period. Pretty good sample size. And the way we played, we won a lot of games. And the way we played, I got 45 goals and 110 points. Why would we change it? You're a selfish player. You're not willing to buy into the rest of us. We can't trust you in the critical areas. And that's what it's like. And then the guy would say, how about this idea? How about instead of me blocking shots, we get the third and fourth liners to score a goal or two? With that, instead of me playing like them, why don't they play more like me? Wouldn't we have more success that way? And you go into these playoffs and you think these guys are, we had those teams with Tippett and those guys. We had more firepower. We get to the playoffs, lock it down, shut it down. You want to win 1-0. You've been winning 6-2 all year. Why do you want to win it 1-0? So I just, like, all this stuff's been percolating, and now they're going to get it all back. So I'm very excited.
As well you should be. I read this and hearing you talk about it, hearing you read it, makes me excited to hear more. And I'm just wondering, do you think anybody ever had that talk with Mike Madonna about the critical areas?
Oh, God, yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mo, your buddy Hitch, Mo, Mo's got to dig in a little more in the critical areas with us. He's not a 200-foot player. He's outside the dots. He's a perimeter player. I'm like, he scored 50 this year. Yeah, but, to me, for us to have success as a team, it's like, well, you need goal scoring too, right? So it's just, yeah, I've heard that. I know Mo's heard it a lot. But that's always the factory default setting for the NHL. Worry about defense. Right. The league has a rule. The league has rules. The NFL makes rules to benefit the offense and the skill. The NHL has rules to benefit the defense. For example, you can have a hand pass in your own zone to defend, but you can't have a hand pass in the offensive zone to attack.
No.
What's the difference? Like, if you can make a hand pass, you can make because you know why? It's not a hockey play. Do you know why it's not a hockey play? Because those general managers were third and fourth line players in the National Hockey League. And that's how they play. So they value that over the skill. Most general managers, and too often, I'm not going to say all the time, but most general managers and coaches, when push comes to shove, they want to default to that kind of a thing. And it's, we have a trophy, a league trophy for best defensive forward, right? We do not have a league trophy for best offensive defenseman. Those are the things. I mean, if you start thinking about this, it all kind of lays out a pattern, and that's the pattern I'm going to show through my Substack posts. And as you follow me throughout the year, you're going to see all of this stuff, and I'm going to give it to you.
Will there ever come a day in this game when all that flips over? Because now in the game of football, offense is the rage. It's an offensive game. Even baseball is turning more into an offensive game. In baseball these days, the home run dominates. Yep. Will we ever see hockey flip the script like that?
Well, if this whole group dies out, like I'm kind of being serious about this here. So the NFL, the NBA, and now Major League Baseball has decided, how do we make this a better fan watching experience? How do we make this? That is always at the center of their thing. How do we make this more marketable, more sellable? How do we bring more people in? How do we have sports bettors have things to bet on during the game to keep their attention late? We are interested in creating a product for the fans. The NHL, they want a product for the general managers. Okay? That's how that works. They are more that way than any other sport. They don't want to go outside the boxes. And like I said, what Gary Bettman's been able to accomplish with that group over the last 30 years is amazing. That we've made such strides in player protection, although it's still nowhere where it needs to be. The NFL places no onus on skilled players to protect themselves during a hit. Zero. The NHL, every time you see a hit like that, right away the analyst, especially if he's on the other team, saying, "That looks like a good hit to me," And I mean, the guy's laying on the ground with blood coming out of his ear, and and they hit him hard in the head. That stuff, from a safety standpoint, has to be addressed, and the culture of the National Hockey League will not address it. And that's what makes me upset, because guys are getting hurt. The Dumba hit on Joe Pavelski in the playoffs, I'd have thrown him in jail. Because to me, the NFL figured out a long time ago, if Tom Brady's out, if Troy Aikman's out, if Dak Prescott's out of the lineup, that's not good for our product. People don't draft fantasy players based on who can knock a guy out of a game. They draft quarterbacks. They draft wide receivers. The focus on protecting wide receivers, running backs, skill players. That's what they did, and it's for business, not for anything else. And the NHL does not want to let go of the Canadian way, the North-South game. They were very much, when the European invasion came over, the players from Russia, they didn't want it. And the coaches that did adopt some of that, like Scotty Bowman early, they had great success. But they're not really interested in skill in a lot of respects. And so, again, it's the kind of stuff that player safety stuff. And that's why, I did that player safety definition. More often than not, they protect the guy who injured the other player. And that's horseshit. So,
So
yes.
I have just a funny story. You're not going to remember this at all, but it was one of my favorite things in life. Okay. So at a season ticket holder event one year, probably.
It wasn't me. I promise it was. What? I'm sorry.
Usually is you.
Cocaine in the bathroom.
I'm not going to remember what year, but it was. So, my husband and I were going around. This is when they had it at the Dr. Pepper Arena, and they had all of you guys in separate areas, and everybody had to line up, and you could only choose like 3 areas to go to because of time. And, they tried that again a couple of years ago. It really is horrible. But so we absolutely made our way straight up to you guys. And we're like, nope, we're getting Razor and Ralph first. And then we'll start with players. I know that sounds weird, but that's what we started with.
Oh, no, not at all, Becca. Not at all. Continue.
Was a nerd.
I had a sign that said, "Hi, Jackson," who is my nephew. And he had come every year to all of the hockey stuff for us, but he lives in Oklahoma. He couldn't make it that year. So we had this little sign that said, "Hi, Jackson." And at every place we could get you guys to sign things, and we could get pictures. Mm-hmm. Well, we sat down immediately to get the picture first. And after I sat down, I held the sign up in front of my breast, and you and Razor both kind of looked over just to see what it said. I didn't think you were doing anything weird or anything like that.
I might have been, but go ahead. Yep.
So Razor said, "Oh, what do you have there? Do we need to help you hold this up?" And my husband said, "No, they hold themselves up fine." The photos that we got of the two of you first looking at him with total shock, then laughing, and the whole time I'm just sitting there smiling because I don't know what to do. And it was amazing and fantastic. And I just have to tell you, those are some of the greatest pictures I've ever gotten with anybody with the stars.
Please, in post-production here, put them on the thing.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, and send me or tweet at me one of them, and I'll retweet it. That's the kind of stuff. I remember those days. It was some of my favorite stuff. I couldn't believe when they had that one time, a couple of times, they had those lines. And I mean, everybody was gone, and there were 200 people waiting for me and Razor.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, what is this? What is this? And Razor and I looked at each other like, what's wrong with these people? They're coming to see us? Okay.
Yeah. You have to remember, so many of us came from the freeze. And
right. Yep.
My husband we were not married at the time. He had season tickets to the Freeze. I used to go to the Freeze, but he sat up in the Igloo Club and was, special because he had these season tickets. But I promise you, half of the people going to the Stars games were not all together there, because at the Freeze games, they used to slingshot frozen Cornish hens into the stands instead of T-shirts. And everybody had to dodge, and way too many people got hit in the head.
It's like the turkey episode on WKRP, all right? Right? They're dropping. What? I can't. What are they dropping on?
Yes, it was fantastic. But I just want to tell you. So you did go back to school, and you did graduate with your new degree, and you went into acting.
I've done that a lot. Yeah.
And you were so super excited about it. I saw you in it was I'm going to cheat and look because it was Hospitality
Suite. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we came over and saw you at Hospitality Suite. I thought it was great. I think you're very talented. I am excited to see that you are doing stuff out there. Yep. And I love that you have won is it the Desert Award? That you've got a Best Acting Award. Yeah.
Yeah. Desert Theater League Award for Best Actor in a Drama. I played Otto Frank in Diary of Anne Frank.
I think that's amazing.
5 years ago.
Love it.
It was a very interesting, hard experience when you have to live that story for a couple of months, and the rehearsals of when you're in there every day. It was, I mean, I understand how, like, I'm nothing, I just do these, but I understand how people get into a character and it just inhabits them and they can't get it out of their head. And especially someone like Otto Frank. We had an excellent cast. The 12-year-old girl who played Anna, Anne was, they usually never cast that show's never done by anybody younger than 16 or 17. The role's too demanding. And she crushed it. She won the award too. It was like, it was so good. And thank you for saying that. And the Hospitality Suite was, I produced it. I found the writer. There was a movie called, I don't know if you remember this, right? The Big Kahuna. Kevin Spacey.
I remember that.
Roger Roof wrote that based on his screenplay, Hospitality Suite. So we did the play, and I called Roger and I said, I found him on the internet, and I said, hey, I want to produce your play. Are you a producer? Yeah, sure. Yep, I'm a producer. When you going to do it? I don't know. Where are you going to do it? I'm not sure. Well, call me back when you get it. So I call him back, and because I called Gillies, my friend at Gillies, and I said, hey, I need the theater. I got this play. What's the play? Hospitality Suite. Great. You got the? Oh yeah, I got it. Okay, we'll give you the room, and we'll take the bar. And okay, and then so I kind of put this thing together, and then I called Roger, and I flew him in, and we made a deal. I flew him in with his wife for opening night, the playwright, and it was a lot of fun. So thanks for going to that.
It was great. I was there opening night.
Yeah, that was a big one. Opening night was great, right? And we broke even for my first producerial job. Everybody got a little something except me. We broke even, and gosh, what a great experience.
I'm not surprised by that. I'm not surprised that a guy like you would veer off into something like that at all.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Ryan. I think you went. I think you were at that, right?
Yeah, I think I was.
Yeah, you were. Yeah. You don't have the same favorable memory, apparently.
No, I don't.
Oh, wow.
Because for you to say, yeah, maybe I was there, I don't remember.
But
really made an impact on you. Hi, Ryan.
A lot's happened between now and then, Ralphie.
Such a punk, Ralph.
So are you still doing some more out there in Coachella? I'll get it right.
Coachella. I did,
so are you doing more in the...
Well, I haven't been on stage since that role. We've tried a couple of times, but either the timing or the role, I didn't, it wasn't quite it. But I directed Neil Simon's Biloxi Blues.
Oh, great. 2
years ago with a very young cast, 17, 18, 19-year-olds. And I was nominated for Best Actor. But it was, it's a big valley. They got a lot of equity actors here. There's more than a dozen really good theaters. So it's like a real thing here. And a lot of people from LA come over and play around with us. And so it's, but yeah, I really enjoyed the directing. That was really fun. And I would do that again. They want me to play Cheswick in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Do it. Do it.
I don't think I can do it because it coincides with NHL playoffs. And I've got to keep doing this stuff this year. But we keep talking. I've worked with them on a scholarship for young actors and people who want to get into the media business. I'm sort of co-sponsoring that. So I'm around the theater a lot, and I teach summer camp there. So it's a lot.
I love that, but I hope you get into. I hope you decide to do something with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It's one of my most favorite movies ever, and I will tell you one of my favorite lines in a movie. Absolutely, somebody give me a fucking hot dog before I die.
Somebody give me a fucking hot dog before I die. The other one is when he's sitting in the doctor's office, and there's a picture of the doctor holding up a fish. At the beginning, and he looks at him and he says, "You weigh that one with the chain on it, Doc?"
It's so great, so great.
That one just kind of slips by, but yeah.
Well, thank you for taking my.
Ryan, do you want to get a hold of your show again, or?
No, he does. It's not his show.
That never happens.
You got it.
I have not broken even as executive producer yet. Just FYI, so I'm super happy for you. But we've only been around for a few months, so.
No, I like this. This is great, man. Ryan's, why did you get back? Because people ask me, what the hell are you doing? But I guess this is in our blood. We need this like oxygen, right? Why did you do it?
I don't know. I just wanted something to do,
Yeah.
I just reached a point where I wanted to do something. And so a few years ago, I started doing this at another place. And it was a place that didn't exactly know what to do with any of it. I think it was more an excuse for guys to get away from their wives and drink in the middle of the afternoon than anything else. Yeah. But I started doing it over there and did probably about, 9, 10 podcasts, something like that, before it folded. And then I took an ill-fated attempt back into the game not too long ago. That didn't last very long, but I got out of that still wanting to do something. So here I am.
Well, we don't have to, again, like you're probably like me. Wait a minute. It's 2024. I don't have to work for anybody. I got a microphone and a computer. I can do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And so that's, I'm proud of you, man. I'm really, I like this. I think we still have things to say, us old guys.
I think we do.
I mean, and I'm a lot younger than you are, so maybe I shouldn't have said that.
You're not that much younger than me.
Probably not. No, probably not.
You're just a couple of decades. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I tell people I'm 63, but I look 62, and I don't feel a day over 61.
Man, thanks for doing this, brother. It's really good
guys.
to talk to you again, and I want you back on here.
You got it.
All right, we will do it.
Wait, Rafi, did you want to make any other, or do you want to again give us your Substack? And did you want to say something about your YouTube?
Well, yeah, my Substack is, Substack. You can either search Ralph Strangis or Ralph Stack. The posts are really going to be fun. I'm going back into I'm going to tell the stories like we told about the North Stars moving and those kinds of things. If you want old inside baseball on the Stars, our move here every year, things like that, I'm going to post this week on my first opening night, the beginning of the end for the Minnesota North Stars. That's coming probably opening night for the Stars or the day after. So that's all going to be that. I'm going to later in the year, we're going to have, I can't tip all of it, but I'm going to be live during hockey games intermissions. So I'm not upsetting anybody's copyright. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by. So I'm not going to, and I'll do some live chats during games on Substack behind the paywall. So you can talk to me during Stars games if you're behind the paywall, and I'll answer questions as the game goes on. We can do that. But I don't like intermission segments. They haven't changed in 50 years. Two guys sitting behind a desk. Oh, okay, welcome back. Here's what you just watched. We'll take a break. Here's 12 car commercials. Then we'll be back. And you come back after the 12 car commercials. They say, welcome back. It's us two again. We're going to look at out-of-town scores. Wait, I have an app. Can I just do it on that? No. You have to sit here through the commercials to get the out-of-town scores. But it's not 1984. Oh, I know, but we're going to do it like it's 1984 because we really don't have any other ideas. This is all we can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have live. My show is going to be called Intermission Suck. And I'm going to have live guests in the studio here, which is the studio behind me. And I'm going to have remote guests, a lot of it focused on sports betting, proposition betting during hockey. And so I've got some really, really fun people. And then also I'm going to drag Hitch onto the couch one night and bust his nuts for a couple of hours and, that kind of thing. So my friend Jamie Langenbrunner is coming into town to play golf in December. So I'm going to try and I might launch the first show then. We're trying to work it all out. But I hate intermissions. And I've spoken to teams about this. And I've said, you really you're just giving away 30 minutes of programming every day. And I got tired of talking to him when I said, oh, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And, so that's what I'm going to do. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be all kinds of different things, contest prizes, games, not porn though, Ashley. So get your head out of the gutter.
Boo. Boo.
But yeah, but we're I was doing a call back there. Yeah. So it's going to be fun.
Awesome.
Yep. So
all right. Well, I demand that you come on here again. I demand you've got to come on here again.
Anytime.
Come on during intermission.
Yeah. Well, I might, you know what? We'll Zoom you in for one of my Intermissions Suck.
That'd be great.
I don't want to say Manning cast-ish, but it's going to be a little that way. The Stars are playing around with it. And a quick nod to my friends at the Stars. The victory stuff is bold. It's innovative. And it might be the future of how people watch local and national and regional sports. It takes a lot of guts to do this. This isn't an easy call, and they should be extremely commended for their efforts here. They don't have it figured out yet, but they're trying. Give them a shot with this. Give them a shot with their huddle, their Texas huddle. It's just starting. Give them some room here because this is the future. And first guy over the wall always gets bloody, right?
Yep.
So they're going to get beat up a lot, but that means they're trying something. And I do give Brad Alberts and the Stars a lot of points for this one. This is really good.
Well, I want to watch the game, so of course I'm going to get that.
Yeah,
and I'll see what else they've got. But I want your stuff too.
You'll get it. Paid subscription, Ryan. Get that credit card out.
All right, I got it. I got it. I'm ready to roll.
You know what would be nice, Ryan? Because these people that you work with, they look up to you. What if, as a gift, you gave them all annual subscriptions to Rel?
I already bought mine.
Oh,
I paid for mine too already.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good.
And I paid for the Sunset Lounge.
Oh,
well, good. Maybe you guys can buy mine.
Yeah, the Sunset Lounge is only $5, Ralphie. Just FYI.
Well, my birthday's 2/27. I always use some form of 2/27, and so that's 7/22 is 2/27 backwards.
I like it.
Well, I paid the top tier, so I want a little extra, maybe nudity. I mean,
He wants your porn.
I can show you a little skin. That's the penis.
Tattoo.
Look at that flex.
That's the penis Mikey, Grooves. Penis Mikey. That's what it is. That is mightier than the sword. I wanted to do it because the penis Mikey.
Damn right it is.
Just for you, I did that one.
Yeah. I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you too. That's great. You're great.
Thanks, guys. Love you too. Love you all.
Love you, Bessie.
We love
Thanks
you.
for having me. Yep.
Hey, talk to you soon, brother.
You got it, man. Thanks.
All right. I'm going to go take my pants off.
Your Dark Companion is a Stolen Water Media presentation.